rivalries brewing, tag teams exploding, legends renewing. From indie vibes to the big stage proving, every rumor nailed down, no chance of misconstruing. Catchphrases dropping like a pile driver move, Jake switch sharp, Cody's got the groove. They keep it real raw, never out of the loop. Step into somewhere, the wrestling troupe. Broken foot, but the show rolls on. Jake's pain sings a quiet song. In the sun where we all fall, wrestling rumors, wrestling brawls. Jake and Cody calling it raw. In the somewhere breaking the wall. Eclipse a suplex, dreams and chair shot screams. Fans in the chat throwing wild extremes. Jake's got crutches but his spirit won't bow. Cody laughs, Jake wipes his brow. Calls a shot, Spaz breaks the game. Cody's in the fray, adding to the flame. Ladders they rise, fists hit the air. Chaos erupts without a care. Triple A's warriors and XT's pride. Only one walks with glory inside. Into somewhere we scream and shout, breaking it down, no shadow. Into somewhere where we breaking it down. CM Punk, John Cena tearing up the town. Broke half on fire, no one spit it better. Reviewing like a beast, no one does it clever. Cena through elbows, Punk through shade. Chains clang, bodies bang, rivalry displayed. Slammed into the chains like lions in the cage. Toronto crowd wild, unleash all the rage. In the summer, in the summer. The Garden's buzzing, New York feel electric. Punk's fist cracking, Seth's got a death wish, hectic. Cody says, man, Punk looking hungry tonight. Jake nods, but Seth flips, guts all in the fight. Roman stomps through, Rex plans in his strut. Tribal chief with bad vibes, tearing it up. MSG crowd, stunned faces in the stand. Cody shakes his head, this again, damn man. Y'all believe in Joe Hendry's name, fighting through the fire in the wrestling game. Hearty soar like the legends they define. Knockouts fight, her power aligns. Mic drop, we analyze every bout, discussing every twist, don't leave a doubt. Predictions, insights, we break it all down. Into somewhere best critics around. Into somewhere we reviewing every bout, breaking down the moves, ain't no shadow of doubt. WWE heat, we bring that white hot flame. From Ray to Gunner, we calling names. Yeah. Turnbuckle tension, the ropes might snap. In the somewhere where we break it down. CM Punk, John Cena tearing up the town. Broke half on fire, no one spit it better. Reviewing like a beast, no one does it clever.
What's going on, ladies and gents? Woo, good to be back. Jake, aka Countdown Ended. That's right, coming to you live. It's the Raw review, Into Somewhere, September 1st, Rabbit 2025. How's everybody doing today? Mid-afternoon review, bright and early. Hello, everybody on TikTok, YouTube, and currently Twitter/X. Hopefully, everybody's doing well. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the one, the only, the meat to my man, which the man, the myth, the legend himself, Cody 08316. What's going on, bud?
Give me a hell yeah.
What's going on? Can't wait to review this show, which was, I don't know. I think this is the definition of mid, right down the middle, because like we were discussing before the show went on air, like the first half of the show was like garbage. Like then the second half of the show was really good.
I wouldn't quite call it garbage, but it was certainly not as entertaining as the later half. It was very house show-esque. It was just matches in front of a great crowd and nothing really compelling us to watch. The second half was indeed much better. I have to start off right away by conceding. I must admit defeat. It's the return of AJ Lee, huh? All these years that we covered it between this show and many others.
I was laughed at by everybody. I've been getting a lot of shit lately on Twitter and stuff because I've conceded to the fact. Speaking about conceding, I've conceded that Liv Morgan is returning at the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
No more in betweens because look where that's gotten me.
Exactly.
And then we've got this whole debate with people like, "Oh, you're just speculating. You don't know shit." But she's returning in October or November. But you're literally doing the same thing as me, speculating she's going to be returning in October or November. So
that's what it all comes down to. The last official report we got from anybody said January 2026. That aligns with the Royal Rumble. Makes perfect sense. It's as easy as that. Honestly, you know?
Yes, it does, because I think that's where her injury... This is the last time we'll talk on it, because this is... I just need to get this off my chest. Because,
and to vent it, and to get it out.
A whole event this morning about it. So this makes the most sense. Jake is right about that, because people are saying she's out of her sling. Yes, I think we talked about like it probably is around the time where she would be out of the sling by now, right?
Yeah, 2 months. 8 weeks is usually when you're out of that full type of movement, and then like you then have restricted movement. They still don't want you using the arm afterwards much, but you're not restricted entirely. So yeah, I don't know. Stay far away from the Twitter drama. Indeed, I agree, as I'm shrinking more and more with this chair. But granted, it was a okay overall episode of Raw.
Oh yeah, and people laughed that I said AJ Lee was returning. So
I admit defeat. Yeah,
at least I got a win somewhere.
You got something. I was a bit jaded in my sense.
Thing correct in the later of the show that I'm going to bring.
Which will we'll get into that too. That probably should have been the main event, and then I see why it wasn't. So. Excuse me, but yeah,
I think should have went on last. CM Punk and Becky.
Yeah, I think if they did that, then they would have really baited the fans into thinking somebody would be returning then, instead of just cutting the episode and ending it there. So, not great overall, but interesting. I see what they're going for, obviously. Yeah, I didn't want to admit it. I couldn't, because so many times has the news been spread. Oh, this means AJ Lee's returning. Somebody wore her sneakers. Somebody skipped. Somebody chewed bubble gum. Somebody went ahead and that's like, and I'm like, I get it. You do that on your own time, but dirty, but still, I get it. She's not returning. We did this over and over and over. So in my mind, it's just like, she's not coming. All right. Now it makes sense.
Yeah, that's how I understand.
They all but sealed their fate.
Because the recent stuff I've been dealing with, so I understand how you
they all but sealed their fate. I have to agree. It's I do want to see her return, but I sound jaded. Like yesterday, the old man yelling at clouds. I know I'm ancient, but AJ Lee is coming, and that's great. But why? And is this really the story to bring her back to? Out of all the times we could have had her return, out of everything, this is just to get revenge on Seth and Becky. All right, it's not terrible, but like it just doesn't feel. It just feels like we need to counterbook as hard as we can, and we're doing everything big on WrestlePalooza.
Because Tony Khan said.
But it's not. It's not fine though for the fans, because everything's starting to really feel soulless lately. Like, what's gonna get the biggest reaction? Oh well, Seth faked his injury. But what was the point? Why did he have to do it? So Punk would feel like, oh, it's okay. He's not going to cash in tonight. Didn't matter regardless whether he knew or not. He cashed in. I'm baffled. So glad to have you here, Bradley. Yes, we were hanging out on the Wrestling for Life Network with those awesome guys over there, watching Raw along with them. So shout out to everybody over there and their awesome network. Happy to have you here, Bradley, and everybody else. Thank you all for hanging out. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/Jake DeMarco.
Back to that real quick.
Yeah, please, sir.
So I think it's a little different this time around because most of the time speculating about AJ Lee returning, CM Punk wasn't even back in the WWE yet. So I think this actually makes the most sense out of any other time that you could have brought her back because now she's defending her husband against.
Yeah. I mean, there was even speculation she was going to come to AEW, remember, at that point in time. So let me see if we said
that is true, but why would she want to surround herself in that disaster?
No, I agree.
No
and that
offense
was
to
kind of the
AEW fans, but you know.
Yeah, I grew a couple inches there. Woo! So randomly,
I think this makes the most sense, though.
It works. It's just it's not captivating. It's not ideal. I sound like I'm complaining for complaint's sake, and that's not it. I just would have hoped there would have been a better story than I need a girl to even up the odds.
What's a better story than you got your wife now?
I got mine. Yeah,
because,
it's not terrible. It just I guess the way they're doing it,
Becky.
you know.
Punk can't attack Becky, and Becky's gonna
keep striking them. Yeah,
so
she's forever going to be the foil. Like I said, they're certainly heavy into the counter booking here. We still have to wait for Brock to answer about what's going on with him and Cena, you know? So right now it's just still pure speculation, but from what we've heard, that's happening at WrestlePalooza. So if it happens, it happens.
Here's my only thing. Can't we just be happy that they're making a great PLE for WWE instead of saying, oh, they're only doing it the counter book?
No, that's why I said I sound slightly jaded.
B-level show.
But
we
here's
want a
the
big
thing.
B-level show, so
like right now, what's the one big overarching story through all the shows? It's pretty much the vision, right? Besides that, there isn't anything, and I think that kind of, you know, when Triple H first took on the reins, there was a lot of, you know, we had the Bloodline story that was the big narrative, but there were a lot of small narratives too, and I feel like we're kind of losing that lately. We're just kind of match for match's sake. A lot of that tonight felt either just like continuations we've seen,
here's what
or
I said.
It's getting that slight soulless, just let me take your money feel from me. It's getting there at times.
Why I think that either Punk and Becky's segment should have ended the show, or Dominic and AJ, is because outside of Jimmy saving Jay, like you got the same typical ending that we did for every other week.
Yeah, if it's not Jimmy coming out,
ending to
it's the Vision. You know, the Vision opened up, which they did, and then the Vision closed.
To save the day, and same shit all the time.
Indeed. What's going on, Federico?
Opening the same.
It was, and you know, we see CM Punk waiting in the parking lot. They're at the Paris, France, La Défense Arena. However you want me to say that. They got to roll something. They're still in Paris. The audience is spectacular. Again, they outdid themselves. The stage is obviously what they did for Clash, and I love seeing it there for Raw. It was massive. The lights, the pyro, all of that. The you know, the way they filmed it looked incredible. That's the usual WWE, you know, the gem of them. You know, the production is always great, no matter what. Things look good, and the way this was filmed was fantastic. The drone shots were great. That crowd, again, so much energy. Do they make them smoke various drugs on the way in so they can get them all pumped up, or is there like something they put in the air? I mean, my God, these overseas crowds just putting U.S. fans to shame. And because they're not eating fast food processed garbage all the time, they still have some energy.
You don't have to mention this on air. I'm just sending this to you. Look how he looks. Don't mention this on air though, because I don't know if YouTube will let us talk about him. But
I hit the button.
Look how he looks. I sent it to you on Messenger.
Oh, if you're talking about the Pebble, you know, yeah, The Rock lost a lot of weight. He looks itty bitty, teeny tiny. It's quite jarring. And I know. Look at this one. We finally see the president out and about. Glad to see that he's still with us and doing strong. No, but The Rock, you know,
How's he looking?
he is tiny. It is jarring to see
Yeah.
him look
I'm
like
assuming
this.
it's for a movie role though.
Uh,
But
they're saying it, you know, he for a serious MMA fighter role, he's slimmed down, and I guess if that's it, but I don't know.
by the way, we're talking about two different people while talking about the same. I know who you're also talking about, but yeah, we're talking.
Talking
One
about
looks
Dwayne The Rock
crazy, just how
Johnson.
slim,
I
and the
know,
other just
just
looks like a corpse.
yeah, equally. Yeah, the before
But-
and after. I totally agree
yeah.
with you. And then to see him like this, it's everything I have is like, oh, please allow ads to show this image, please, please. There we go. Look at this. All right, folks. Now I can not be so rude. Smart selection. There we go. Look at the pebble. He's teeny tiny. It's
Jesus Christ!
yeah. That's when he's not on all
It
those
has to be for the movie
injectables.
role, right?
He said he's doing it for the Mark Kerr documentary. What is it called? Smashing Machine, right? I believe. Yes.
Is he just
So-
not looking more suited for something for 2028?
I don't know.
Is, you know?
It's certainly crazy. I mean, besides the AJ Styles reaction tonight, I think AJ Lee was just as over, if not over more than anybody else. Fans chanting for her. They're trying to will it into existence. Major announcements from tonight. I would say they announced a women's title match at WrestlePalooza. So Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky are going to be facing off
Which
Saturday,
I
September
complete-
20th.
I know I sound like a hater here, but I completely disagree with this matchup because we're just reverting back to the same thing again. And Stephanie Vaquer has been great and all, but I don't think she's known too much for the main roster audience yet because there's a different audience for NXT viewers and main roster viewers. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that, but
There is
I
a
feel
different
like that is
audience.
the case.
There is a different
But
audience.
Stephanie Vaquer hasn't been wrestling for the entire month of August, I don't believe, really. So I don't know if you should put the championship on her yet. And again, when you do put the championship on her, I don't think she should just be a transitional champion because I say it should go to Roxanne or Raquel. No, this is not for Judgment Day bias because, again, I think they're getting kicked out of the group anyway. But if we're going off storyline in the
right.
rumors,
Hold on. You
winning
gave
the
me
Rumble.
19 things to answer in 3 seconds to remember. So basically,
19 things, no.
I don't feel like they're doing the same old thing here because they're kind of stuck in a way with Naomi going ahead and having to relinquish the belt. So what they're doing, Stephanie Vaquer has not wrestled recently, and that was already an issue I noted because she was a #1 contender after Evolution. They did this thing where like, oh, we'll kind of see you hanging out backstage, but you're not going to be doing anything because you're already the #1 contender. You can't get to be the #1 contender twice. You know what I mean? So we'll give time to other people. She's done nothing, but she has been wrestling at every house show event overseas. She's a huge draw. Fans love her. And yes, the main roster fans have had quite enough time to get acquainted with her. It's been well over
I
6
don't
months at this
think
point
so.
because she was up before Mania and the final call-ups happened anyways. They introduced her to the main roster. And then
But how
she's
much
been
has she been wrestling
since.
during that time? Not
Pretty much. She wrestled weekly until she got the #1 contendership at Evolution. She was wrestling every single week on Raw.
How
While
big of a
still
reaction
going back to
does she get,
NXT
you would say?
and massive. If you listen, people love her. She's been in the main event of Raw. She's over as hell. The
It's
issue
still
is a
way
lot of
too
people
early
feel
for
like
her to
she.
be the
I'm not
champion.
I'm not disputing that, but the problem is Naomi was supposed to retain here more than likely to keep this feud going. Now Naomi cannot retain. She's got the baby. So what are we gonna do? Do we give it back to Io Sky, who was the previous champ before that? That
shouldn't
kind
be
of
either of
feels
them
like.
winning.
But here's the thing: who else? What were they going to do? Have a tournament? They could have had a tournament in
Should've
all the
gone to
time they
Roxanne.
waited by now, because you figure that she made the announcement. They've had a week, and then they've had all this time. Stephanie's over, but
I say Roxanne.
Stephanie already owned it. She earned it. That's all there is to it. So Stephanie's there. Io Sky, the only merit she has in this race right now is that she formerly had the title. Therefore, I feel like take her name out of it, put her name back into a hat, and put it in a battle royal or something. Give me a reason as to why someone else should be the other #1 contender for this vacant title, basically. So Io just gets it handed to her. I have a feeling they're going to give it to Stephanie here. They want as many newsworthy moments as possible on this show. They want it to take over the SEO. They want to dominate AEW and everything in searches, clicks. So Lesnar's going to be there more than likely.
Stephanie.
We got AJ Lee
What's
returning.
the story with Stephanie, though? We talk about story
The girl.
Here's my thing. What's the story with Stephanie after she wins it, though?
But they've been telling the story for a while now that the girl from Chile that wants to prove that she is the best, and then therefore when she has a title, she can defend it like the best. That's kind of been her thing. It works. And the more she learns English, she's been ingratiating herself with fans more and more. Like she's putting in the effort in tons of ways. So
I don't think she should win.
Out of her and Io, I feel like Stephanie's the better of the two because Io's had the belt several times this year already. Let's go ahead and give it to somebody new and see what they can do. If it doesn't work, then you can always revert it back. But
then you should have done like Roxanne. There would have been more story with that, though. There's not really story after.
But the only story is for those that watched NXT, really. That's the problem. So you're, again, alienating the audience by pulling that story. With this, everybody knows Io Sky was the champion and was cashed in on. And now the person that cashed in has to go ahead and take some time off. So, c'est la vie. Granted, we got a lot to cover still. We'll have to debate this more in the podcast. But overall, I think Stephanie's not the worst choice in the world. Is it a little soon? Sure.
Still too soon.
But I think they can get a lot out of it still. She can defend against faces and heels alike, get a lot of really good matches out of it, and then eventually get some rivalries. So at least we have one match announced for WrestlePalooza, certainly. It looks like we're also getting the Brock match there, AJ Lee returning. It's supposed to be about as big as it can be.
We'll agree to disagree on that.
Hey,
I still say Roxanne.
That's what we're there for. So,
no, it has nothing to do with the Judgment Day. It's just a long-term story.
Happy birthday.
You can finally get a long-term story for the women's championship, and you're not going to do it.
Yeah. Hey, it's going to happen. So what are you going to do? Sami Callihan turned 38 today. Happy birthday to him. And WWE also announced that they're going to be doing a Road to Royal Rumble across the UK, Germany, Denmark, Poland, Northern Ireland again this January. So from January 8th to the 19th, that's going to cover multiple shows and a couple of live ones. So again, we're going to be pretty much dealing with this type of crowd before every major event. It seems like they're going to start doing it. How long before they're there before Rumble and Survivor Series or not Rumble, SummerSlam and Survivor Series? It's probably going to happen. They like the overseas crowd because they can charge an exorbitant price there, more than they can even charge here, which is insane. And I wonder, though, if fans over there are going to get tired of paying these high prices after they've been more accessible. You know, it's like, oh, I got to go to 2 clashes now, so do I need to go to a third for triple the price? I wonder if fans are going to start to buy less and less, but I don't know. It feels like they just continue to raise the prices, sadly. Excuse me.
That's there we're in.
You know, it is. I mean, but the TKO era, the greed is just, it's stunning. It really is at times, and it is a bit jarring. I worry, as I've said before, that they've already priced out families. How long before it's just strictly, oh, you have to be an influencer or something online to go because you need this many followers and this much money? That's kind of what it is. I see videos all over my YouTube front page at times. I paid $20,000. I paid $40,000 to go to SummerSlam. I paid $18,000. This is what I got, and they vlog the whole thing. And of course, it's a tax write-off, but still, that's pretty much how it feels like what you have to do. So, again, we mentioned earlier what happens in the beginning. The Vision. They cut a promo. No, it's not Paul Heyman, but maybe it should have been. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed did not sound great here, especially with the crowd and the whole, your babysitter's not here chant. That was, they're like, oh, you guys put Heyman in the hospital, and it was just like this silly back and forth. But, we're a couple of dogs off the leash, got everybody to bark. And that was kind of it. You saw that LA Knight and Jey Uso were both terribly beat up, and even though they agreed to do their issues out another time, they're going to go ahead and accept the challenge. So it's more of that, unwelcomed, tag partners. Can they get along? Can they coexist? Type thing on top of continuing this rivalry. Without Paul here, these two kind of sank instead of swam. The crowd swallowed them whole, and none of this was great. LA Knight has a decent point, though. He's trying to get over that, he was over with and then all of a sudden Jay stole the yeet. What other four-letter word was popular at that time? And he even cut him off in the back. So interesting to see how their rivalry plays out. What'd you think about the opening, Cody? Anything at all?
The opening, it's like your traditional opening for every Monday Night Raw in the last, I don't know, ever since the Vision became a thing. Either whoever's feuding with the Vision or the Vision comes out and blah, blah, blah. Then they'll all come out and it'll turn into some sort of match for the main event.
Yeah.
Then a beatdown happens and then
that's kind of it.
God.
It feels like it
Holy
goes on
shit.
forever. Yeah, it really does. It goes on and on, my friend. And it never ends.
So I would say it was like, I don't know. I'm not trying to be negative either, but like it was.
No,
I don't know.
But they clearly care about the online discourse and fans being vocal about them being exhausted with the same thing over and over again. Yet it feels like they're doing it out of spite almost now. Like, hey, here's this. And you're first thinking like, oh, here comes, Jey Uso, then LA. All right, how is this going to play into the Vision? Yep, here it comes. And that's what it leads into, instead of like, hey, what did we get? How could this be better? What could we do to make it different? Even if it didn't open the show. I get why they want to, because you want to set up the main event. They did this all in the Attitude Era. Go ahead.
Raw was tonight?
What's that?
Raw. SmackDown is better already with how they advertise it compared to how Raw was as an entire show tonight, I feel. SmackDown actually seems exciting for once. You got John Cena, you got CM Punk, and possibly an AJ Lee return. So SmackDown actually
in Chicago. Chicago.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think they actually made SmackDown already more exciting to watch than what tonight was in general.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the thing about it is, it is already seeming to be the bigger of the two shows. They went in tonight without having a main event, which was booked in the beginning by, the tag match being offered and happening. And a lot of people get irked. They're rubbed the wrong way. They're like, oh, so no main event was there until something. Well, it's like clearly they had something planned or changed. Or I don't care about that. But it is a silly thing to have it announced as the show goes on. But that's what they did, tried and true, every Attitude Era. Vince would be out there for 20 minutes with the corporation talking, or, and he would drone on and on. And
like
then
forever.
Stone Cold would interrupt, and then back and forth. And, in the main event, it's going to be you and the Big Show, like, oh, Jesus Christ. And then we'd get the match.
So
and
it's
then
not like we can.
So, you can't cast stones in glass houses. I get it. But it's still, we cared more about the names and people than I feel like right now. I'm not really caring about the Vision. They kind of accomplished their goals.
Maybe they should have just opened up the show, honestly. Like, just
to have the tag match.
There,
yeah. They're already out there. Just do it. Absolutely. That probably would have worked better. Yeah, it's something different. You're not getting it in the main event. Then you could have had the Punk and Becky segment close the night off, and that probably would have made it feel hotter. Absolutely. Here's the thing, though.
I think so, because if you're really trying to advertise SmackDown, that would have been a good way to get into SmackDown. Like, that's a good cliffhanger.
No, exactly. What's going on, Casey? Glad to have you.
Because CM Punk told Becky he's going to also make her regret everything.
Yeah, I'm going to make you regret you put your hands on me. That's all you need to say. Where is it? Chicago? Yep. And then Punk's in the back talking to Pierce, like, cliffhanger, dun-dun. I love it.
Yep.
It's pretty simple.
That's how it should have ended.
I
thought the match got cut for a second because how late that promo went. I'm like, wait, are we still getting that tag team match or something?
Yeah, it seems like it, and it certainly feels like it as well at this point in time. We'll see what happens, though. And the way they set up the main event too, like I said, it has that casual feel to it, and that's all it is. We've seen this before. We've seen these guys face off time and time again. The problem is most times when they, nut up and shut up time, the Bronze, both of them end up losing. So, we just saw them lose over the weekend. We see them lose before this. It's like They lost at SummerSlam. I don't know. We're supposed to be taking them as the next big things and these big credible threats, and they're destroying people after the matches. But when the bell rings, they can't get it done. Every time they seem to be losing in the ring.
What good would it have done? That brings me back to that. Like, what good would it have done for Bronson Reed to beat Roman then, if this is like the outcomes that they do?
Yeah, sadly, you're right, and it's unfortunately it's confusing as to what they would have gotten out of it. I was hoping for more, but it doesn't seem to be that way.
They could have gotten more out of it still after the beatdown of Roman, but that's my issue. They can't capitalize on anything.
Yeah, you know, and
they should have won.
That's the problem.
Tag team. They should be unstoppable. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker on the same team, and somehow they're losing.
They should be going for the tag titles. They should be.
They should be unstoppable together as a tag team.
They should be reluctant partners still, because they're both thinking they can do it on their own. But when they're together, they're truly unstoppable. Like, that should be the lesson for them to learn, and for, you know, them always failing to get it done. And what happens? They get with the vision, and now they work together instead of against each other, and they dominate. And there's none of that. Like, what is the benefit of having Seth be the champion and with them? Is he teaching them anything? It doesn't seem like it. Is he getting them any type of benefits? Doesn't seem like it. They're not champs. They're not. Yeah, they're getting their ass beat.
I don't know how long this will last.
Yeah. So what is the point of being Seth's lackey right now? Like, in the Shield, it was every man for himself, but we were brothers together as well. Like, you could do your own thing, but we always had each other's back.
Because you can see Braun Breaker already getting annoyed with Seth Rollins during those backstage segments like a few weeks ago.
And Seth was getting annoyed with Braun. Yeah, and Heyman was giving Braun the side eye too, like, oh, you got your own plan, you didn't tell me about it, what's this? You can't take the lead kind of idea. So leaves a lot of questions, and so why would they be continually supporting each other when there's no, you know, mutually beneficent reason to do so? Judge, it makes no sense, Your Honor. Then, speaking of no sense, we had to throw Dragon Lee out there because they're talking about the Worlds Collide show.
Back to the last thing on Bronson Reed. Like,
yes,
I'm not saying you're wrong though. Like, I know some people thought, like, I'm not saying you're wrong that about Bronson winning, because I've even told you I wouldn't have minded if he beat Roman, but my whole thing was like their capitalization of it, and you know what I mean. So I feel like they can't capitalize on what they do.
No. And that's usually the problem.
Can you hear me still?
I can, so loud and clear. But I agree. They can't capitalize on what they're doing, and that's the problem. Most times, it's just that continual issue of they've got something white hot in front of them, and they just skip by it. And that was kind of my hope with Triple H, to not see these things slip through their fingers, and not. Karrion Kross is certainly one of them. I mean, we're probably getting worked, but then again, it is certainly very strange. I mean, he's going through GCW. So did they let him go and say, go work the independents for 6 months, and then we'll take you back and we have a contract waiting for you? Like, is that going to be the story, or is he truly out? It's seeming like he's out and done. I mean, between the Pro Wrestling Tees store, which we know WWE doesn't allow, between him doing signings at various events, you know, people just met him over the weekend. It's like, hey, it's happening all over. And
talking about Killer Kross.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So here's my thing with that. It's confusing to me because WWE, like you said, typically wouldn't allow. Like, GCW is not one of their, right?
No. And
who do they work with? I know there's some indie.
There's a bunch of indie feds right now that are ID schools, and they have relations with now. But yeah, no, they don't do anything that I've seen with GCW directly, and nor with Bloodsport, excuse me, either. And that's the unfortunate part, because it seems like, hey, no, he's out, he's done, and we're not going to see Kross again, possibly, or at least not for some time. And maybe they didn't want to offer Scarlett money, and that was true. Like, they had nothing for Scarlett, like he said, and he was like, no, I'm good then. Because really, she was just his manager. I'm not saying she wasn't the perfect pairing with him, but they weren't having her get involved in matches. Well, matches, you know, but her NXT side of her we got to see was great, where she was this evil, seducting temptress. fireball casting witch. You know, it was much better than her just being his valet, and then not at all while he was in this Mad Max phase. Much like nothing at all was Finn Balor taking on Dragon Lee here. They only had these two wrestle because they have the Worlds Collide show coming up September 12th that we'll be covering as well. And they didn't even have Dragon Lee's entrance on the broadcast. It was during the commercial break, as I saw with the VPN, which, funny enough, you see Stephanie McMahon advertising, a VPN service on her podcast, telling you to basically watch WWE ad-free using a VPN. Forget
She knew
ESPN.
what she was doing.
Yeah. For some reason, it feels like, you got her and Triple H. Maybe it's in the fans' mind things, but like there's a TKO side and there's a Triple H WWE side, and because why else would she do that so cavalier and candidly? It made Milo upset, for God's sake.
He's even complaining about it right now, right?
He's pissed off, He's like, he had money in a different VPN service, but... Dragon Lee got a win over JD McDonald last week, so it's like now we got to have Finn Balor seal the deal, and unfortunately that's not the case. It's like, oh, Finn wins and beats him senseless, so all right, you're not getting 2 in a row. Sorry, Dragon Lee, you're done for. And that's been about it. We go ahead and slowly get interrupted. Here you go, broski. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Home delivery.
Can't beat it.
Yes, indeed. That's why Miles going nuts. Did you see any of Raw, Sir Patrick?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet. Well, you didn't miss much. It was not. It was a story of 2 shows, unfortunately. And we were talking about Dragon Lee taking on Finn Balor, and it just felt like a gigantic house show for the first hour and a half, almost 2 hours. The remainder, 40 minutes or so, was pretty stellar, but it took a lot to get there, unfortunately. So thankfully you didn't see it live. You'll be able to kind of fast forward through some of the stuff. They're trying to set up a lot for Worlds Collide, and sadly it's not as big as it can be this time. We'll see as the card develops, but it seems like there's less interest this time around. I don't know how much weight Mr. Iguana carries, but we'll see going forward. What'd you think of this match?
Sorry, you cut out there. What match?
This is Dragon Lee and Finn Balor. It might be. I think you're having trouble, but Dragon Lee and Finn Balor.
It was all right. I mean, not your, I don't know. It's just your average match, I would say. It was a good TV match, but
yeah, exactly.
Could have been better.
It was just that, though. And that was it, sadly. That's all we were getting was a TV match. It was strictly that. And that's the problem. The story, obviously is a continuation from last week, but even then didn't feel necessary. Oh, Dragon Lee gets the win, but obviously there's always something going on the outside. There's, not like this time there wasn't a million El Grande Americanos, but I'm sure soon enough we'll see them all. We did see one later. So, like you said, it felt like a commercial break match, barely even a house show match at times. I wish they made something of it. Like I could see if Dragon Lee won 2 weeks in a row and they were trying to build him up, but that's not the case. So what are they trying to get through and mark here? I'm not sure. Then we had the crowd boo Nikki Bella backstage. We saw her and she's talking to Io Sky, and then eventually she leaves so that Asuka and Kairi Sane kind of interrupt so she can talk to them. The crowd booed her again, I believe, later on as well, interestingly enough. So we got more drama from the Kabuki Warriors. Io Sky basically said she's like, they wanted to know if you want help with her match against Stephanie, and she's like, no, I want to go it alone at WrestlePalooza. And Asuka basically said that flying solo didn't work for you at SummerSlam. And Asuka walks away, and Kairi's like, don't worry, it'll be okay kind of thing. But I wish I cared more about this drama. I feel like something might happen where they're the ones that screw Io and the match at WrestlePalooza. That'll be the turn. That'll lead to a new feud, and Stephanie will be able to claim the title. but it protects Io from losing as well because they interfere. We'll see. Hey, at least you're still with me at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the fucking.
That's all right, you know. But
of course, Wi-Fi has to shit the bed when we're doing a live stream. What else would it? Right?
It's usual with us. Let's see if we turn down the bit rate. If that helps you at all. Might help you now.
Do I sound good?
You sound clear. I can hear you nice and clear. So, Ross emphasized the word "not." Yeah, he said over the weekend they offered him a contract, but it was not good, so they turned it down. Yeah, exactly. He's made that statement, you know, since he had his documentary out there and whatnot. He said it on the Ariel Helwani show. They gave him an offer, but it didn't come till very, very late, like the week before. It wasn't good, and he wanted to know how did they get to that evaluation, and then he asked if there was anything for Scarlett, and they never came back to him with how they got the numbers, and they never had an offer for Scarlett. They said they pretty much wasn't going to be one, and that was it. So if that's to be believed, they're gone, and that's how it ended, and that's heartbreaking. Like I can't fathom how it just doesn't compute in my brain. How you let two of the top merch sellers go because she was selling stuff right along with him. He was actually at the top though for weeks when he wasn't even on TV. People were just chanting his name in the arenas. You know, it was a Killer Cross all over the world kind of thing, and people were into it. Just work with me here. It's Killer Cross, you know. But he needs his own champ button. I got to get that on here. But yeah, Killer Cross deserves better, and we could all be getting worked. And if that's the case, bravo. But I hope there's a big payoff to it if that's the case, and something meaningful and massive comes along. You know, some major storyline. Cross could be feuding with Cody Rhodes right now. He could be, you know, God, like there's so many things we could be seeing and doing. So again, continuing on with the Judgment Day backstage drama, Dom was pretty much like, we got to do something about AJ. And that's when Adam Pearce comes and he's like, oh, guess what? Nothing's going to happen because everybody's banned from ringside. So Finn's smiling, and he told Dom, he's like, well, we'll be there in spirit. So Finn's thinking that, hey, he's going to lose the title finally, and I don't have to do anything to go ahead and get involved. But we'll see more, lo and behold, later on. Then we get Kofi, Xavier, and Grayson Waller. Again, house show match, because we get Penta teaming with Eric and Ivar, the War Raiders. It kind of felt random to have the War Raiders out there again. It's like, oh, we need a tag team to even the numbers. And the good guys won in the end. I mean, it was a very clumsy spot. You saw Eric kind of toss Xavier, and as soon as he went in the air, Ivar was kind of jumping off the ropes, and it was supposed to be like a splash, but came down hard. So hopefully he's all right after that. Penta, you know, hits the Mexican Destroyer and pins him for the win afterwards. But it was just, yeah, very lackluster indeed. Old catchphrase coming back. This already felt like the foregone conclusion of a match that it was. You knew that Penta and the good guys were going to walk away victorious. The way they did it, yeah, it was very bland. And I don't know. People were like, oh, it felt kind of fast paced. Yeah, but again, a lot of it was clunky. And then the exposition getting here was not great either. I mean, really, they're fighting over an enlarged hat that with an inflated price. That's basically it. Feel free to jump in if you can hear me, sir. So, and then we had Dominic Mysterio.
We got it fixed.
All right, Dominic Mysterio, AJ Styles. Before this, they had AJ come out, and he makes his entrance, and the crowd is going fucking insane. And I mean like super insane, beyond insane. Cannot express the level that they're chanting here. They are causing, you know, the Richter scale to jump up because they're causing an earthquake. This was incredible. And I wish I could play some of it, but they're so copyright heavy with Raw. It was just a really great moment. It was a lot of fun to see the fans lose their mind. And I mean, everybody went crazy here. They all
everybody go absolutely banana.
They did indeed. They went banana hard here. And this is one of my favorite moments of the night. Match be damned. This was great.
You didn't like the winner? Or
So
What was it?
I initially had said this was supposed to be at Clash. Now I see why they didn't have it there and they put it on Raw. AJ has to get screwed, so it protects him. I get it, but if they need to protect AJ still and keep Dom with the title, then don't do the match yet. You already pushed it out this far. You could have done something else. I don't know. This is a predictable finish with a predictable outcome because it's like, oh yeah, they banned everybody else, so of course the El Grande is going to come out, the Ludwig Kaiser version, and he gets his ass out there, and there we go. So Americano loads the mask and hits him in the chest, not even in the head, and Dom does the top rope frog splash and ribbits his way to the pinfall. That's it. 1, 2, 3. We got a, retain over AJ. It wasn't a bad match, but this was not the match I was expecting from these two. They could have killed it. It. They every time they started to get there too, like Styles jumps over the top rope and he hits Dom with a great flying elbow off to the floor, and then they go to commercial, and it's like, all right. And then by the time you come back in, it was just this like running power bomb onto the broadcast table. Didn't break, which was funny. I am the table there, and back to break. So it was just like, all right, again, and everything gets interrupted. The flow gets distorted, and lo and behold, as we said, AJ gets screwed. So now does AJ want to get even with El Grande or Dom or both? Do we really want to see a rematch between AJ and Dom? It's likely going to have a stipulation.
I think Dominic is getting a lengthy reign, like I said.
Yeah.
I know you guys didn't.
You said he's going to have to hold on to it till Liv comes back. I was originally thinking it would be till Liv comes back, but then I said, no, it seems like they're going to kind of play fast and loose with this because they could still turn him later. But nope. They didn't have Judgment Day get involved, so there's no betrayal, there's no face turn, and there's no title change. So you were right on the money.
Thank you very much. I may have been wrong about other things from the pay-per-view, like Jake
everything else, but
this, I'll take to the hill, and I'll die on this hill that Dominic is having a lengthy reign. I'll go even further and say, I told you, like, this is how it's going to play out. Dominic is also going to win that AAA title. He's going to have 2 belts. JD and Finn are going to lose their titles. And then that's how you build up the betrayal of Dominic from the Judgment Day, because jealousy is going to kick in. Then, Dominic's acting like a leader now for whatever reason. Now he has gold and we don't.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're going to get jealous and he's going to get booted.
Seems like it. Unfortunately. I mean, we were trying to be hopeful and see what else could they do with this? What else could they give us? And it was just, again, more of the same. I was expecting this to be just a incredible match, and instead it didn't feel like it ever really got into that next gear. And it certainly wasn't a time thing because they gave them 16 minutes here. It was marred with commercial breaks, unfortunately. And I know there's only so much they can do to help that. But I thought they were going to avoid that going to Netflix. Like that was supposed to be the point of like they could. I would rather have people come out with sponsors on their gear than have to have commercial breaks.
Here, hold on. Dom ain't winning, Cody. You are a Dom fanboy.
And you read it.
From what I saw tonight, let's look at the result. AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. Oh, looky at this little cookie. Dominic Mysterio, and still your greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Thank you.
Funny how that works, huh?
Yeah, it is.
It is indeed. So then we go ahead and
continue.
Yeah, we get into what next? Rhea Ripley's backstage with Punk, and he's like, how did Seth get in the building? And you basically have Pierce saying, don't worry about it. Once he shows up, we already know he's here. And he's like, I'm going to take care of business. And that's when Punk comes out to a massive, massive crowd ovation. You thought what they gave Cena was big. My goodness, these people just kept topping it one after another. And Punk lays into, Seth like he should. And he said he's going to be in this ring until Rollins decides to face him man to man. And that's when Seth's music hits and the crowd woes to death. And it's Becky instead. She comes out strutting her shit. And you said you wanted to face him man to man. Well, you got what you asked for. Right, Cody? The man has come to town. And
Yep.
Punk tries saying, I don't want to deal with you. It's got nothing to do with you. And she's like, it's got everything to do with me because you involve my family. You know, I had to listen to you berate my husband, the greatest man I've ever known. And you said my husband was a coward, you know, and Punk's like, your husband is a coward. She's like, he sacrificed more for the business than you'll ever know. And I had to listen to them chant your name during my matches, which let me know they didn't care about me or the hard work I put in, which is kind of true. You know, that's why they were chanting his name for so long. And she's like, you're not the voice of the voiceless. You're the poster child for apathy. And, you know, you hear the crowd just start to shut the F up chant. So that was funny. They tried to censor it badly. Shut the F up. They tried. Every time it was like, shut up.
This crowd was amazing.
Just right there, but you heard the word still. So Lynch and Punk, they just continued to get in each other's way. She was basically what she was saying. And she's like, I you know, I want you to forever be out of my way. And Rollins like, it sounds good, but, you know, him and I, it'll never be over. I'm the best in the world. And he's like, I'm not just saying that. I'm, you know, basically mocking her. It's like the fans chant my name if I'm a champion or not a champion, whether I'm on TV or not. Through all the cities, he names each one that they've been through on the European tour. He's like, you know, you and your husband weren't on those shows. I was. And he's like, you know, your husband, Seth, hides behind his title and his boys and the Vision and the Bronze and Paul. And now he's hiding behind you, his wife. And she's like, you know, she just kind of smugs it off and makes a face. And Punk's like, I know you. You're more than somebody's wife. You're the man. And, you know, it's just that you have bad taste and you married a bum. That was great. So he's like, I need Rollins to know that the issues between us will never be over. And that's when Seth kind of coyly walks to the stage and he's mocking Punk. And he's like, oh, I've been looking for you all night. And he said that, hey, if you got something to say, come say it to my face. And every time Punk tried to leave Becky, she got in his way. And then she starts slapping the hell out of him. And she keeps slapping him and slapping him. She goes, what are you going to do about it? And the crowd erupts into the loudest AJ Lee chant yet. And she's telling Punk, you're pathetic, as she keeps slapping him and chopping him. And she's slapping him in the chest. And Punk eventually stops. He jumps out of the ring and he says, I'm going to make him regret on cashing in on me. And I'm going to make you regret you ever put your hands on me. And she's like, I already regret putting my hands all over your sweaty body. She's like, I'm going to have to wash myself in bleach. I need to shower. And then she tried to sing the Na 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 Goodbye song, but the audience just overpowered her with boos.
Oh, Becky, never be a singer, by the way.
Oh, God, her voice is grating. But that's kind of the point. You know, she's supposed to get on your nerves. She was great riling up the crowd. She agitated everybody. She got them all nice and pissed off. And the more she raspied her voice, the more people wanted to see her get torn apart by AJ Lee. So they got the fans white hot and ready for this comeback. And it also led to backstage. Adam Pearce is cut off.
This should have been the ending.
Yeah, he cuts off CM Punk and he's like, Punk's like, where's Seth? And he's like, he left, but he'll be on Raw next week. And he's like, where's SmackDown? Going to be held on Friday. And Pierce says, you know where it is. It's in Chicago. And Punk said, tremendous, before walking away. So he's got a plan. Let's see what's going to happen. Does AJ come back this Friday? We will be live to review SmackDown this Friday. It's going to be a big show, so don't miss it. Come watch the show with Wrestling for Life. You know, do the watch along with those great guys, and then come over here for the review afterwards as we tell you what went down and how we feel about it for Friday Night SmackDown. This Wednesday, we'll also be live with Into Somewhere Weekly, where we're going to be talking about everything coming up later on this month. WrestlePalooza, Worlds Collide. We've got AEW All Out news and more. So make sure you go ahead and tune in. And then we got the main event. The Bronze taking on Jay and LA Knight. And not that this was bad, but again, it was just more of the same match we've seen main event Raw for weeks on end now. Anytime these two team up and face somebody, they isolate one, they do the other every time. You know, it seems like they get the advantage. They pull the ref out, they pull somebody out, like they constantly escape. It's well wrestled, but it's just very predictable and very bland because we've seen Braun and Braun do the same thing for weeks now, and anytime it matters, they lose. In this moment, nothing's on the line. There's no stakes. It's not a massive show. Of course they win. But they win kind of because, you know, you have Knight and Jey Uso, you know, they're trying to, you know, work together, but, you know, it's kind of inadvertent, you know, and they eventually, can they coexist? It continues. But Breaker, he goes ahead and he spins Jay, and that's when Michael Cole's like, oh my God, the bad ribs, and he covers him, gets the 3 count. After the match, this is when they continue with their beatdown like we get every week on Raw. They're getting heat. They're getting heat. I said, is Seth going to come out and kind of be the conductor here? No, it's just Braun and Braun. They're tearing everybody apart. And, you know, LA Knight tries to come and help, but Bronson Reed just picks him up and tosses him over the broadcast table. The French announce team just kind of belay out of the way as LA Knight's throwing like a lawn dart. See ya. They just, you know, poor LA. I heard him yelling midair. He was like,
Let me talk to you.
ah. You know, let me talk to you. And he just got speared into existence. Yeah. He got yeeted. Then they go ahead and they hit a big spear on Jay, his injured ribs. And that's when Bronson Reed goes up top and hits him with a tsunami. Goes for another tsunami, and that's when Jimmy Uso comes out. And I'm like, God damn it, where have you been? You just saw your brother get speared, tsunami'd, about to get another one. What are you waiting for? But
so you were there the whole time?
You were, that's a big fail. Where was his twin power? They were supposed to, you know, his spidey sense. Brother, he needs me. Gotta hurry up and appear. I'm telling you, those type of saves always baffle me a little bit, especially with the earlier, airtime of Raw. I was hoping for something a bit more noteworthy, newsworthy, something bigger to chew on, but I guess they gave us one match announcement. We've got 19 days till WrestlePalooza, and we've got 11 days until Worlds Collide. NXT's
the best thing on the show
out.
Was the Punk and Becky.
Yeah, by a mile, those two had absolutely.
I think they arguably saved the show.
I would even say that Dom and AJ had the best match.
Yeah, that.
But it also, like, it could have been better. It still wasn't great. It was good.
I mean, I think it does make sense though, because Dom's been talking with El Grande.
Oh, it certainly makes sense. I don't dispute that. I'm just saying the match itself was very. Yeah, I too miss Joe Hendry. I said it.
So, do you think they should have put the title on AJ Styles? And if yes, where would you go with that?
See, it's difficult right now because if they're not going to break up Judgment Day, then no, I wouldn't put the title on him. It's all contingent upon, like I said, I would wait till he can turn face with Liv, and when Liv returns, you want her to be cheered, not booed. So the fans are going to cheer her regardless.
People still try to argue that she should return as a heel, and Sam Roberts called out someone on that today, saying that makes no sense whatsoever, because if you make Liv and Dom the heels, then the story turns into Finn. It's all about Finn.
She's going to be cheered regardless. I mean, no matter what, she's going to be cheered.
Make her a heel, that's just going to be like not feel natural. That's going to just feel forced.
But think about what they had to do with Becky. They wanted Becky Lynch to return, and everyone was like, "Oh, it was silly for her to turn the next day." Well, no, that was kind of her plan all along. But she had to go. She wanted to win tag titles. It's fine. It fit with the story. Thing is, they knew when she returns at Mania, how are you going to boo her? You had girls crying, you know,
Exactly.
people were like melting in their seats. Oh my God, Becky's back. This is amazing. In what universe were they going to have people try and boo her as the heel in that moment? No, you got to wait to the next night. Then you do the heel turn. Like that's, so yeah, I mean, there's ways to handle this. And
So what do you think about the people that say that Liv and Dom should either remain the heels or be tweener?
I would say no. They need to go full face when she returns. Dom as well.
I agree, but people still argue, what about Liv the last time she was a face? It didn't work.
But
I
she's a
think she's in a
different
different
person
level
now.
of
Yeah,
herself. Yeah.
she's a completely different person. She's changed. Her wrestling style has changed. I do miss Finn Balor. His initial face run was good, and then he did the Balor for Everybody one, which was a little less than stellar, just
I think
because
Finn
they had no
works better as
creative.
a heel too.
He does work better as a heel. I mean, especially his NXT version of himself was great, and I don't know, but I just I prefer him as a heel, but I do
There's
miss
more
him as a
story
face at
of,
times.
There's more story of Liv and Dom
Mhm.
getting booted and turning face than Finn getting booted and turning face.
Yeah,
That's
especially with the couple, no doubt about it. I'm trying to see what else here. Yes, happy Labor Day to anybody celebrating today. You know, pretty much we're basically seeing, like I said, they'll have Raw air early for the next few weeks in September. So every week Raw will start at 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you keep that in mind.
this is to try to not compete against Monday Night Football, right?
Yes, that's essentially the goal. That's what they're going for there. So seems like you know that AJ Lee and The Rock's new look are pretty much the only things trending currently, surprising enough. I figured it would be more of a news story, but you know, surprisingly not. They got, like we said, the Royal Rumble tour of Europe going ahead of January, and Dominic Mysterio retains. The Rock now became the Pebble. Io Sky is going to go ahead and take on Stephanie Vacour. That's exciting. And it looks like Rhea Ripley is going to be taking on Asuka. I mean, that kind of seems like what they teased tonight. So that'll be cool to see going forward. As far as confrontations go, that would certainly be exciting. You know, we get some more action out of that. At least gives us something to look forward to. Besides that, I would give Raw like 6.5. Most of the matches were
Really?
kind of house
You're going that high?
show-esque. Maybe a 6. Probably
I'm going.
probably a
I said
6.
mid. This is mid to. I'm going 5 out of 10.
I understand that. Yeah, that's not terrible. You know, I'm going with the 6 just because I did care for some of the
Well,
stuff, but not enough to keep me.
Maybe I'm being more
going.
negative. I don't know why. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it kind of lines
I
up
know.
because, like, the 6-man tag was very skippable and silly to even have on this card when
See,
you
I
had
even
so many
forgot
other
that
things.
happened.
Yeah, Dragon
forgot
Lee and
that
Finn
happened.
Balor was again a silly outcome. If you're not building up Dragon Lee, then what's the point? You know, and the Kabuki Warriors taking on Raquel and Rox was decent, but nothing really to write home about. Dom and AJ was good. I'm not thrilled with the ending
That was
and
definitely
predictable
best
finish.
match of them.
Yeah,
I would have like if you
and we
really
got the
wanted
main
to make
event,
Raw
which was
hot,
good.
I really think Dom and AJ should have been the last match on the card. Then you just transfer right into CM Punk and Becky's segment.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done the
I think
6-man
that would've
tag
been-
tonight. And Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed versus Jay and LA, I would have opened with, like you said. That would have been much more palatable. I get what they're going for, but they still could have had
Because even
Becky
with
come
Jimmy
back out
saving
later.
Jay, they've done that a few times already. So
He
it's not
pulled the
like-
Jeff Hardy. He had
Yeah.
to get his shit in beforehand. So the Punk
Yep.
segment was fun, you know, with Becky. I liked what they got through with that, but still, I think a 6 out of 10 is about fair. Certainly,
I'm going 5 out of 10, but
I respect it. Certainly.
I respect yours as well. That's
Where we're at. You know,
We
we
don't
had
always
our,
agree, but-
no, but at least we got each other's back.
you know it
I
well.
think that's
In what
Despot.
way?
You know, Despot. We'll be live this Wednesday. That's right. We'll be talking the NXT review this Wednesday, as well as into Somewhere Weekly. We'll be going over WrestlePalooza and other big events coming up for WWE, like Worlds Collide. We'll be talking about All Out. because that's going to be in Toronto.
Yo, we clutched up in Toronto 11.
That's right. Spaz is going. We got our man on the
Toronto.
inside. We are brutal, so I do agree. But the show 6 and 5 out of 10, I think, is fair. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/Jake DeMarco. You can find me on Twitter /X, on Instagram, and on Rumble at Countdown Ended. You can go ahead and find us on TikTok. It's at Jake.CountdownEnded. And you can go ahead and find us on, what else is there? Oh, that's right. We're advancing. We're also on Spotify, so search Into Somewhere over there. So go ahead and tell the nice people where they can find you, my man.
You can find me on my Twitter or X, whatever you like to call it nowadays, at Judgment Day Era. You can find me over on my YouTube. I know I still haven't posted video game content yet, but that will be coming soon.
Yeah.
It's also at Judgment Day Era. And you can find me over on my Instagram at Cody_Onidi_316.
Thank you so much for being here. Like I said, we're going to be live a lot coming up, so make sure you go ahead and hit that bell and subscribe. Follow us on the other socials. We appreciate it greatly. We'll see you all Wednesday for Into Somewhere Weekly. Until then, I hope you all have a great day. Stay sexy and have a good one.